Hello everyone, I'm Alex, the architect for Backfrap, and in today's video we'll start the data objects part of our React Native and Parse series of videos. We will go through all the properties that the data objects of Parse supports, and today we will start talking about strings. A string is a conjunction of characters representing text, and Parse holds this kind of variables very well. In order to create a variable string, you first have to create a class. I'm going to call my class todo, and then click add a new column and choose the data type string. Then give it a good name. I'm going to call this title. So here is my title as a string. I then can start adding data to it. So the string type is very flexible. It represents text. So if for instance, if I type a number in here, number 13, it's not a real number. It's a string that represents a number. So for instance, if I try to append another 1 to this 13, it won't be 14, it will be 131 because I appended 1 to the end. So Parse supports very large strings up to 16 megabytes, but you should avoid to store such big properties inside your application, because every time you have to retrieve this data from the servers, it will take a lot of time because it's a big payload to retrieve from your front end. It also supports breaking lines, so you can have multiple lines of text and hold complex text in here. And it also supports that you hold, for instance, HTML tags. So if you need, for instance, to hold a full HTML document inside here, you can do so. But how do you operate a string inside your React Native project? So here I have my Visual Studio, and we will start to declare by declaring the class that we want to hit. In this case is the todo class. So let todo equals new parse.object and then passing the class name as a string todo. Then we'll set the property that we want. In this case, todo.set. .set is how you set properties in Parse. Then passing as a string the name of the property that I'm looking for, in this case title, and then passing the value. You can put the value as I'm using here, retrieving it from a variable. You can also use single quotes and then typing something, so something. You can use double quotes depending on the IDE you're using. Some IDEs complain about single quotes and double quotes, but Visual Studio does not. So in this case, something. You can also operate strings from inside this method. So for instance, I can use this dot to uppercase, and it will write something all uppercase to Parse. I really recommend you do not operate the strings inside here. You should always operate the strings outside and then only pass the final value in here, because it makes it less confusing for new users to understand what you're doing. Because if you start appending methods in here, so for instance, to lower dot replace my point, it starts to get a lot more confusing for the end users to understand what all this code will do before being set to Parse. So if you can always write your final strings in here, but manipulating it before, it will be easier to read later. So with all that done, I'm going to do a try-catch block here. So something. And I'm going to await, because this is a synchronous method, todo.save. And if it saves fine, I'm going to alert.alert, save it successfully. If something goes wrong, alert.alert, error, and then passing the error dot message that will contain exactly the message telling what exactly went wrong when trying to save this record. So this is how you save strings in Parse. As you see, is a very flexible type. It holds a lot of data. It can hold a lot of data, but you should avoid doing so because of the bigger payloads takes more time to retrieve. So the user experience in the end might be slow, but is actually because of the complexity of the object. And you can operate strings as much as you want in Parse. So I hope you liked this video and hope to see you on the next ones of this series. See you soon. Bye bye.